You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
Welcome back to Outdoors Delmarva. Now, when our friends at Delmarva Birding Weekends invited us for a boat ride out into the Atlantic in January, I wanted to ask them if they realized that it was January. But when they said that we were on the search for seals, well, I couldn't get on the boat fast enough.
All right, folks, good morning and welcome to Fisherman's Wharf. My name is Bryn, I am your captain today. Let's go see if we can find some seals and birds.
One of the best things about living on Delmarva is that there's something new to discover around every turn. Enter Jim Rapp from Delmarva Birding Weekends.
If you're just walking up, you're in the right spot for Scoters and seals. My name's Jim. I'm the guy that emails you and books you. Since we're mostly here, I'll just say, for those that haven't done this, what we're going to do is cruise out the canal here in Lewis, and it's just pretty lovely little town here. Then we're going to cruise out through the inlet into the bay and head out to the inner breakwater wall, the big rocks, and that's, I think, part of what makes this such an interesting trip and interesting experience is just like the rock jetties at Indian River Inlet or Ocean City Inlet, rocks and seawater is just magnet for weird winter birds and wildlife. So the seals, eiders, harlequin ducks, purple sandpipers, birds that you don't see on the beaches. Now down here we don't have rock naturally. It's sand and marsh and, you know, kind of that classic mid-Atlantic coastline. But whenever you put big rocks near the salt water, amazing things show up. We'll cruise the inner wall. We'll do some birding there. Usually we get a few harbor seals, like even if you go to Cape Henlope in the state park nearby, you can see them from the beach. They'll be swimming around out there sometimes. Then we're going to take a look at the East End Lighthouse. So we got great scenery, the light, and the sun's gorgeous today for photographers. So we'll get the lighthouse, we'll cruise around Cape Henlope in a bit. There's usually a couple birds on the beach. Then we're going to probably pop out around the Cape, dip into the ocean for a minute just to say we did it. We'll do the west end of the outer wall and we'll cruise back in here. It's a solid jam-packed 2 hours, so we should be back here at 10:30 and off they go.
And even though we were all very anxious to get underway, before we were allowed to board, a few safety instructions from our captain were in order.
So first things first, we will be loading on this boat. It is a super low tide. So you're going to be taking wooden block steps down, hold on to the rail.
And that order also applied to those with 4 legs and fur. Once everyone was aboard, we were on our way.
A real pretty great blue heron in the cedar trees about 2 o'clock. It's just kind of sitting on the edge. Head out towards the East End Light on the rocks. We'll be looking for harbor seals swimming. Just look for heads in the water. Looks like a little basketball or something like that floating around. Then these rocks are little shorebirds. If you got binoculars, you'll start to see them. I gotta say, if we had blindfolded you and dropped you off here, would you think you were in Delaware? That's what he said. It's sort of like going to Maine for 2 hours.
On a chilly January morning, an abundance of birds and the stars of the show were enough to seal the deal on another great adventure with Delmarva Birding Weekends. If you'd like to get on the mailing list for their next adventure, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, head on over to delmarvabirding.com or send an email to dmvbirds@gmail.com.
Wildlife on Delmarva truly is amazing at every level. We'll wrap up the show with your latest viewer photos when Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru, returns right after this.